Yo, 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 yo. Have you ever thought to yourself, if I can just get better in this one area, like I'll be good? Or how do I even start to get better in any of these areas? If you thought those questions, then I got some answers and some tips, and most likely a story for you guys today. Welcome to the Black Man Black Health Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Cost, and today we're going to talk about this subject, how to constantly improve yourself. I'm going to first say make sure you subscribe so that you can keep hearing these messages. But the first tip I'm going to always come out the gate with is when we think about improving ourselves, we want to first think about, as a man, our relationship with God first. I always say God first, you, and then those who you're called to serve. That may be a wife, a child, depending if you're married or not, but you want to think about God first. Now, when people hear that, they can sometimes think that we're talking about religion first. That's completely different. That's a system. We're talking about God first, which is relationships. So we want to think first, how do I improve this relationship I have with God? Within that, we probably can do like 5 episodes, but we're not. Within that, we want to be thinking that I can't improve God's love for me. I can improve how I receive His love, how I understand His word, and how I follow Him. That's the thing that we're talking about improving. We're talking about with us and God. The Bible talks about, and we've heard the scripture before, maybe you haven't, that God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. So we know that God died. He sent Jesus to die for us. We can't improve that. We can improve how we receive His love, how we understand His word, and how we follow Him. So the relationship is based on those things, not improving His love towards me. Why would I put that first? Because God is the person who made you. God is also the person who put the calling in your life or the assignment for you to do in the earth. And He's the person, the only person in your life that knows everything about you, everything you will do, everything you have done, everything you're thinking of doing. So why not go back to the source first if I want to improve my life? God is going to be the first part. When I also think about improving, I want to think about improving in increments based on the season I am in and where I'm going. Often as a man, I'm guilty of this, and I'll give you a story. I got back into doing some Olympic lifting, and I hadn't Olympic lifted probably in a couple years. So you guys know, like, the older you get, things don't just go the same exact way they used to go. Let's just put it that way. And I found myself in the morning time when I used to Olympic lift, I was lifting maybe around 2 p.m. So I had a couple meals. I had no kids. I had no wife. I was my only responsibility, so to say. So I could train for 2 hours. Fast forward years later, I have 2 kids. I have a wife. I have a business. And I was now doing these lifts around 4:35 a.m. Let me tell you the difference it made. And I missed the lift, so I was like, I shouldn't have missed this lift. I've hit this lift thousands of times. And my sitting and writing and journaling, I had to make the decision. Is this the exact area that I need to be improving myself? Because that's not the season that I'm in anymore, and that's not the season where I'm going. I'm not saying improving yourself in weightlifting is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this is not where I'm at anymore. And this is not where I'm going, so why am I chasing this? Sometimes that need to improve yourself can come from validation from other people, being affirmed by other people, letting people know, as a guy, I still got it. It's okay to not still have it. So God is first. The second one wrapped up in that story is coming to honest conclusion. Do I need to be improving this part of my life right now? Or is it okay if I don't? So I kept doing cleans and I was like, hey, if I don't hit this lift, cool. It doesn't change anything for me. That's very, very hard for men. And I tell you this is very, very hard when we talk about physical health. Back in the day, I was a D1 basketball player. I was a D1 football player. It's really, really hard to let those things go because they become part of your identity. They become part of who you think you have to be, which a lot of times you never had to be that. We just became it. We've all been guilty. If you haven't, I'm going to just say that I've been guilty. Shameless plug and shout out Conquer Fitness United. If you're trying to get back in shape, right, we have tons of things that can work for you. The one that works really well, which is a good entryway, is the Black Health Challenge. It's 75 days, but it's 75 days where you get to pour into your mind, pour into your spirit, pour into your body, and you get to do it with other people in a group. You get your workouts, you get your support. Do it. It's totally worth it. Go to drewcost.com or wherever you're hearing this, that hit me up, Coach Drew Cost. So first one is my relationship with God. The second one is being honest and real with yourself. Do I need this in my season of my life or in the next season? The third one, improving yourself. I'm going to say map out the areas where you feel you need to move forward in. And then I'm going to say find someone to hold you accountable in that area. This is the game changer. Accountability is not just, hey, just check on me. It's someone helping you have an account for your ability. Can you do this? Can you rise to the occasion? And more than likely the answer is yes. We just don't have someone to just maybe bounce an idea off, or somebody to be like, hey, no matter what I tell you, make sure I do this. I'm going to say map it out and write it out first, because you may start thinking that every area that comes to your mind immediately is the area to work on. So if you do that, you might miss like the core things to work on that could change the game in a lot of ways. I usually say if people start working on their eating, or they start working on consistent moving, it usually starts to spill in other areas, which is good. A therapist taught me this. She said, you can work on 3 things that will change 600 things that you knew nothing about in a good way. Or you can try to go at all the 600 things and change nothing. And I love the analogy. It's an analogy about keeping the commandments. Like God says, done. Love your neighbor, love God, love your neighbor as yourself, for this is the fulfillment of the commandment. If you do that, you're not going to steal. You're not going to do all the other commandments that he gives. Like he shows us 10, but then there's like 600 commandments. But if you focus on the big rocks, you're not going to be in a place where the rest fail. With that being said, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to get a journal, get a whiteboard, however you do this, and not just your computer or your phone, because I think journaling has a power within itself. Get a journal, get a notebook, write down what are the top 3 areas I want to see improvement in. And then I want you to write down what are the top 3 barriers right now when it comes to those areas. And then I want you to write down, who could I ask for help? Now, I probably just lost you right there. Who could I ask for help? I say this because at times I have a friend of mine who, when I ask him for help, he gives me like ideas that I didn't even think about, or the ability to see things in different ways that I had no idea about. Why is that vital? It's vital because when you're looking at a problem yourself, you don't realize you're biased towards it, or you don't realize you could also be blind towards it. And someone else helping you can show you, hey, if you do A and B, it will work better. But you're looking at C through Z and skipping the first part. Whenever I teach someone about really like losing weight or getting back into the hang or starting fitness, we don't really start with food. We start first with mindset. Why do you want this? What has stopped you? What do you think is going to come up on the journey so that we can participate? don't think that's the word. Participate. And we make something happen on our end that combats that. Like, so I know every time someone goes on a weight loss journey, the first thing that usually comes up is, can I eat the foods I love? We want to address it. We want to approach it in a good way together. So we got God. Have an honest conversation with yourself. Is this something that I need to be improving on? Accountability. Have someone hold you accountable. With all that said, if you guys get stuck, we have men's group. We have ways to help you out. Simply go to drewcost.com, subscribe. Take care, guys. I'm out of here.